Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. The week-long Make in India event begins in Mumbai. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates event, says this is the best time ever to make in India. Leaders of political parties throw their weight behind protesting students at JNU. Leaders also meet Home Minister Rajnath Singh and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. David Headley continues to make startling revelations in the 2611 case. Bolstering India's case, he says Pakistan action against terrorists involved in the case was superficial. The Congress and the DMK join hands for the assembly elections this year in Tamil Nadu, seat sharing to be formalized later. And Syrian President Bashar al-Assad vows to retake all of Syria. Declaration comes a day after world leaders sought cessation of hostilities in the war-torn country. The top story this evening, the Make in India Week in Mumbai was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. The week-long campaign holds a promise to make the country the world's manufacturing hub. It's being touted as the largest business expo hosted by the country, with as many as 2,500 foreign delegates and 8,000 representatives of Indian companies participating in the event.
This is the best time ever to be in India. And it is even better to make in India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Make in India event in Mumbai on Saturday. Seen as an initiative to provide greater impetus to the ambitious campaign, the week-long event is to encourage international companies to manufacture their goods in India.
This century is Asia's century. My advice to you is to make India your center if you want this century to be your century.
Since the launch of the initiative last year, India has surpassed China and the US as the top destination for FDI. The Prime Minister has previously described the Make in India Week as a celebration of achievements of the manufacturing sector that offers insights into the investment opportunities in India.
Our FDI inflows have gone up by 48% since the day my government came into office. On the front of policy and procedure, we have made our systems cleaner, simpler, proactive, and business-friendly.
During the week, the Prime Minister is expected to hold bilateral meetings with senior foreign leaders from different countries. The event will also see over 9,000 delegates from different countries participating. The Make in India Week aims at promoting India as the preferred manufacturing destination globally. Over the course of a week, it will offer access and opportunities to connect with Indian and global industry leaders and central and state governments. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, today was day 5 of David Coleman Headley's deposition in the 2611 case, and the string of startling revelations continues. Casting doubts over Pakistan's seriousness to fight terror, Headley told the Mumbai court that the action taken by the country against terrorists was superficial. Following this, the BJP has demanded that Pakistan be declared a terrorist state.
David Coleman Headley's Pakistani handlers told him that nothing concrete would happen against Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi and Hafiz Saeed, the men believed to be behind the 2611 attack. Headley also told the Mumbai court during his deposition that the action taken against them by the Pakistan Federal Investigation Agency is superficial.
I invited Headley's attention to various emails, and though emails were in a coded language, I did ask him as to what has been communicated to him when Headley was in US, that nothing will happen against Hafiz Saeed as well as Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi. I did ask him that whether Major Iqbal of ISI and Samir Ali of ISI, Major Abdul Rahman Pasha were arrested in the conspiracy of terror attack of 26 November. Headley said, according to his knowledge, they were never arrested by FI.
Shedding more light on terror activities post-26/11, Headley also said that he visited the Indian Army's Southern Command headquarters at Pune in 2009 on the instructions of ISI's Major Iqbal. Major Iqbal wanted Headley to recruit some military personnel to get classified information.
In fact, it is made it very clear by David Headley that even after the terror attack of 26 November, the Lashkar and ISI, they were intending to attack Army College as well as Southern Command, that is the Army headquarters of Southern Command of Pune. And that is why David Headley was asked to make the reconnaissance of the important places.
Following Headley's revelations, especially the ones against Pak action, the BJP has demanded that India initiate a diplomatic exercise to have that country declared a terrorist state. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Now, ahead of the assembly elections in Tamil Nadu this year, Congress and DMK have joined hands, deciding to contest the elections together. The parties have forged an alliance after 3 years. Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad met DMK chief M. Karunanidhi at his residence in Chennai on Saturday. After the meeting, Azad said that issues like seat sharing will be discussed soon, and the main priority at the moment was to ensure that the DMK comes back to power in the state. Azad also said that the election would be fought under DMK's leadership and put the responsibility of roping in more constituents into this alliance on the party. Both Congress and the DMK parted ways in 2013 over the issue of Sri Lankan Tamils.
Like in the past, we have worked together, we have fought election together, we have formed government together, and I'm sure these coming months and the coming election also will fight together, will be one, and I'm more than sure that we will form the government under the leadership of DMK party, and DMK, Congress and other allies will be a very formidable combination to defeat other political parties.
This government is silent. This government does not care for the people, whether they are agitating, whether they have genuine demands or not. They don't care. They only care for themselves. The Chief Minister cares for themselves, herself. So that is how the government is going on. So we want this government to be pulled down. So we want a formidable alliance, and we don't mind accepting parties with us.
Now, Jawaharlal Nehru University Students' Union President Kanhaiya Kumar's arrest on sedition charges has caused widespread outrage and sparked more protests. Political parties jumped into the protest cauldron today, with leaders of the CPIM and the JNU meeting Home Minister Rajnath Singh to discuss the situation on the campus. As the protest continues, leaders of political parties have descended on the campus to show their support, including Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi.
Leaders of political parties descended on the Jawaharlal Nehru University campus on Saturday as protest against the arrest of JNU SU President Kanhaiya Kumar intensified. CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechury, Congress leaders Rahul Gandhi and Anand Sharma, and JDU's K.C. Tyagi were there to show their support to the students.
Himself, and the national government says he is anti-national. What did he do? All he said was that he feels a little bit of pain. All he said was that he wants to express what is inside him.
Earlier in the day, Sitaram Yechury and K.C. Tyagi met Home Minister Rajnath Singh, demanding Kanhaiya Kumar's release. A delegation of leaders led by Yechury also met Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. They are demanding a magisterial inquiry into the entire matter of Kumar's arrest.
उच्चतम शिक्षा के संस्थाओं के ऊपर इस तरीके का हमला जो हो रहा है, इसका विरोध हमने प्रकट किया आज गृह मंत्री जी के साथ, और उन्होंने यही आश्वासन हम सबको दी कि कोई निर्दोष आदमी के ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई नहीं कर।
Basically, we demanded Ms. Kanaya must be released forthwith. All charges must be withdrawn. Police must be withdrawn from JNU campus. JNU campus must be allowed to function in a normal way as university.
However, Home Minister Rajnath Singh asserted that no innocent would be harassed, but also said that the guilty will not be spared. The centre also called on the opposition to openly condemn what they call our anti-national activities at the varsity.
We must stand united. I would like to appeal the left and the Congress parties to come out and openly condemn this anti-national act perpetuated by some of the students. We must stand united. We can't allow JNU or any other educational institutions to be a hub of anti-party activities.
Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Bassi tweeted a clarification saying no innocent would suffer and that Delhi Police was only doing its duty. However, the arrest continued. 7 students who were protesting at Indira Gandhi International Centre were taken into custody. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The mortal remains of the 9 soldiers who died after an avalanche hit their post in Siachen Glacier on the 3rd of February have been brought down to the Siachen base camp in Ladakh sector. The remains will be taken to Leh after the weather clears. The Met Department has predicted clear weather on Sunday, so the remains will most likely be taken out on Sunday. The bodies will be then transported to Delhi and subsequently to their hometowns. Among the 10 soldiers, only Lance Nayak Hanumanthappa was miraculously dug out alive, while 9 other bodies were recovered on the 9th of February. Time now to take a look at what else made news around the country nationwide. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley hit back at former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh's criticism of the Narendra Modi government. He said the transition from UPA to NDA has been from policy paralysis to a global bright spot. In a Facebook post, Jaitley stated that UPA policies were framed from Congress headquarters. Meanwhile, in the NDA government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has the last word. 2 soldiers have been killed in an encounter in Kupwara and Jammu and Kashmir. 4 militants have also been eliminated in the army operation. The encounter entered its 2nd day today. The gun battle broke out after police, assisted by the army, launched a cordon search operation at Marseri village in Chaukibal area, following specific information about a group of militants hiding in the house. The Election Commission declared a schedule for by-elections in 12 assembly constituencies across 8 states, with Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka among them. The elections will be held on Saturday, while the counting of votes will take place on the 16th of February. The results will be declared on the same day. 3 paramilitary personnel have been injured in an IED blast triggered by Maoists in Chhattisgarh. According to officials, the incident took place at around 11:15 in the morning in the jungles of Aranpur. 3 men who have been identified as Assistant Sub-Inspector Mohan and Constables Ghosh and Rajinder have been airlifted to Dantewara. BJP's Bihar Vice President Vishweshwar Ojha was shot dead on Friday at Sonbarsha village. Ojha had just entered his car when the assailants, who had their faces covered, fired at him. Calling it a political killing, the BJP threatened to launch statewide protests if Ojha's killers were not arrested within 72 hours. Time for us to take a quick break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
These dynein motors, their function is proportional to their number. You need the same motor to do many different kinds of things inside the cell. And you may be able to tune that function just by tuning the number of the motor. This particular molecule, cholesterol, seems to be the basis on which these large teams are assembled.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Roop Malik, Associate Professor, TIFR, only on Rajya Sabha TV. The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
That clock ticked through the night. So much happened as you slept. So much you missed.
Wake up to a complete roundup of news from India and abroad. Politics, strategy, business, sports. Keen analysis to kickstart your day. Watch Breakfast News weekdays at 8 a.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, the Obama administration has notified the U.S. Congress of its decision to sell 8 F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan worth nearly $700 million. This comes despite mounting opposition from influential lawmakers from both the Republican and Democratic parties. The Obama administration has said that the proposed sale contributes to the U.S. foreign policy objectives and national security goals by helping to improve the security of a strategic partner in South Asia. Asserting that this will not alter the basic military balance in the region, the Pentagon said that the proposed sale improves Pakistan's capability to meet current and future security threats. India has expressed disappointment at the sale. MEA spokesperson Vikas Sarup tweeted saying, "We disagree with the rationale that such arms transfer will help combat terrorism. The record for the last several years speaks for itself." The US ambassador was summoned to the MEA in this regard.
India has taken the right step to criticize it, to complain, to object to it, and we have called their ambassador today to tell him what we think about it. Even the domestic constituency of the Republicans and of the Democrats perhaps don't support all of it, knowing fully well that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism. And therefore, we have to stop terrorism and not equip them to fight India.
Now, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has vowed to retake the whole of Syria. Ironically, his declaration comes just a day after world leaders sought cessation of hostilities in the war-torn country.
A day after cessation of hostilities was agreed to by world leaders on paper, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has turned the tables. In a wide-ranging interview, he has vowed to retake the whole of Syria.
منذ البداية نحن نؤمن إيمانا كاملا بالتفاوض وبالعمل السياسي منذ بداية الأزمة، ولكن نفاوض لا يعني أن نتوقف عن مكافحة الإرهاب، فلا بد من مسارين في سوريا. أولا التفاوض، ثانيا ضرب الإرهابيين، والمسار الأول منفصل عن المسار الثاني.
The US hit back, saying Assad was deluded if he thought there was a military solution to the conflict.
Look, I mean, he's deluded if he thinks that there's a military solution to the conflict in Syria. We've seen this wax and wane over now 5 years. But all we're looking at, if the Syrian regime continues the fighting, is more bloodshed, more hardship, and frankly, a greater hardening of positions on either side.
On Friday, at the Munich Security Conference, Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif expressed willingness to put aside rivalries with Saudi Arabia.
We believe we face common threats. We believe ISIL and Nusra, extremists in general, are as much a threat to our brothers in Saudi Arabia as they are to the rest of the region.
We cannot defeat Daesh in Syria unless we bring about change in Bashar al-Assad. He is the man who helped create it by releasing radicals from his jails, by allowing Daesh to operate without attacking them, by even trading with them.
But several Western countries said there was no hope of progress without a halt to Russian bombing, which has decisively turned the balance of power in Assad's favor.
Russia is our largest neighbor, and it is an international power. We have seen a more assertive Russia, a Russia which is destabilizing the European security order.
The big powers led by the US and Russia struck a deal in Munich on Friday to start to bring an end to hostilities in a week and to provide rapid humanitarian access to besieged Syrian towns. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel welcomed British Prime Minister David Cameron in Hamburg on Friday to discuss Britain's EU membership ahead of a Crunch EU summit later this month to help keep Britain in the Union. Cameron, who faces tight opinion polls and deep split within his own party, made securing reforms a condition for campaigning to keep Britain in the European Union.
Among the many arguments British Prime Minister David Cameron gives for Britain to stay in the EU, this is perhaps the most compelling. Cameron says the world would be a more dangerous place if Britain voted to leave the European Union. In Germany, for talks with Chancellor Angela Merkel, Cameron hopes to win her support in preventing key British demands from being watered down during the EU summit next week.
When it comes to the question of Britain's future in Europe, my aim is clear. I want to keep Britain inside a reformed European Union. So if by working together we can achieve these changes, then I will unequivocally recommend that Britain stays in a reformed European Union on these new terms.
David Cameron is aware that the British public has had enough and will vote to leave in this year's referendum. He also has resistance from other countries to contend with. France is against safeguards Cameron wants on further Eurozone integration. Eastern European countries are also believed to want to water down the emergency welfare break plans.
Of course, if we can't, then I rule nothing out. But I believe that we can. And if we do, I believe we can win that referendum, and that will be good for Britain, good for Germany, and good for the whole of Europe.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel said she is confident a deal to keep Britain in the European Union will be reached, but she warned more compromises may be needed on both sides.
Sie alle kennen meine Überzeugung. Ich wünsche mir, dass das Vereinigte Königreich auch in Zukunft aktives Mitglied in einer erfolgreichen Europäischen Union ist und bleibt. Das ist in unserem deutschen Interesse, wie auch, das darf ich nur ganz leise sagen, ich glaube auch im britischen, aber vor allen Dingen auch im gesamteuropäischen Interesse. Denn die Briten werden natürlich selbst entscheiden.
Speaking at a dinner in the German city of Hamburg with British Prime Minister David Cameron and civic and business leaders, Merkel said issues such as changes to social security systems need to be placed in a European context, not only a British one. Britain is seeking to restrict benefit eligibility for certain migrants and have more say in the running of its affairs from Brussels. Some members support the British position, while others are very sceptical of anything that weakens the sacred principle of free movement. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Some more international news now in Global Buzz. The death toll in the earthquake that hit Taiwan has reached 116. 114 victims have been recovered as of now. Memorials were held on Friday, the 7th day after the quake. 1/3 of the deceased were children or under the age of 12. A strong earthquake near an eastern Indonesian island knocked out telephone lines, radio communications and roads late last night, but there were no reported casualties. No tsunami warning has been issued so far. Myanmar's president has scrapped a planned trip to attend a summit for leaders from ASEAN in the United States next week in order to oversee the transfer of power to Aung San Suu Kyi's new government. Suu Kyi and hundreds of MPs from her party took their seats in parliament just 2 weeks ago. Calling the transition a delicate time, Sen has chosen to stay in Myanmar. Pope Francis and Russian Orthodox Patriarch Kirill embraced and kissed in a historic meeting this Friday, nearly 1,000 years after the eastern and western branches of Christianity split. The meeting in Cuba was the first ever between a Roman Catholic Pope and a Russian Orthodox Patriarch. The Pope said that the meeting was like one between brothers. Some sports now, and Indian shooters continued their splendid form at the 12th South Asian Games as they bagged 4 golds, 1 silver and 2 bronze medals on the 8th day of the competition. The gold came in both individual and team events of the men's 25-meter standard pistol and men's 10-meter air rifle events. On the last day of athletics, India won 2 golds and a bronze in marathon. With the gold in women's marathon, long-distance runner Kavita Raut has qualified for the Rio Olympics. However, the Indian men's hockey team lost to arch rivals Pakistan 0-1 in a lackluster summit clash. Rahman scored the lone goal of the match as Pakistan clinched the gold medal and notched up a hat-trick of titles in the South Asian Games. India still leads the medal tally with 146 gold, 80 silver and 23 bronze. Sri Lanka is second with 25 golds. Pakistan is third with 8 gold medals, followed by Bangladesh with 4. All the other sporting action now on Sports Beat. South Africa beat England by 1 wicket in the 4th one-day at Johannesburg to level the one-day series 2-2. Joe Root's 8th one-day century helped England reach 262. However, Proteas batsman Chris Morris hit a superb 62 from 38 balls as South Africa reached the target with 16 balls to spare. All-rounder Kieron Pollard and off-spinner Sunil Narayan withdrew from the West Indies World T20 squad Friday, but officials insisted the moves were not sparked by the current pay dispute engulfing the team. Pollard pulled out due to injury, while Narayan has said that he was underprepared as he serves out an international suspension for a suspect bowling action. Top seed Rafael Nadal advanced to the semi-finals of the Argentina Open after a straight-set victory over Paolo Lorenzi. The world number 5 won a tight first set and then powered through to the second to secure a 7-6, 6-2 victory. The Spaniard is playing his first tournament since he suffered a shock first-round loss to compatriot Fernando Verdasco at the Australian Open. French 5th seed Guy Monfils beat German wildcard Alexander Zverev 7-6, 6-3 in Friday's last quarterfinal at the World Indoor Tournament in Rotterdam. He will now face Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber in the second semi-final on Saturday. Kohlschreiber earlier beat second seed Marian Cilic of Croatia 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.